Welcome to Golf Talk. Can our handicap numbers, individual handicap numbers, tell us how to play a hole? And stay tuned, we're going to have course updates as well. Welcome to Golf Talk. I'm your host, Pat White. Joining me today again, as usual, Casey Flenniken, Director of Golf, and Wells McClure, Director of Maintenance. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. Hey, I'm going to put my glasses on. I'm going to read you, Casey, some stats.
Okay.
And it's going to take me a little bit, but I want you to start commenting on these stats.
Sure.
Okay. All golfers, according to the GHIN website, all golfers, men handicap is an average nationwide of 14.2. Women is 28.7. And I'm just going to cover a couple of these. Men 60 to 69 is 26 to 33 handicap. Men 70 to 79 is 28 to 35. And Casey, I think we're a little bit better in Tellico Village than those averages.
Yeah, I think we would be below the national average.
Okay, but we're still going to be in the 20s, somewhere in there.
Yep.
So a couple more stats that we want to start discussing. Greens in regulation for a 20 handicapper is 10 to 19%, or 2 to 3 greens, but a pro golfer is 65.5%. How does a pro golfer miss a green 35% of the time and shoot under par?
Well, I think that's what's going to show you. Actually, the PGA Tour green in regulation leader is only 72.7%. So even the leader misses over 25% of greens.
Wow.
So if you miss the green, then you're putting a lot of stress on your short game, right? And so putting around the hole is where I'll start with this. Around the hole, from 8 feet, a tour professional makes 50% from 8 feet, half. The best in the world on perfect greens, and this is all they do. 40 to 50 hours a week, right? So if they only make it half the time, what does that mean for our players, right? They really need to hone in. So around the hole, in my opinion, would be the most important part. I would start at 3 to 4 feet. And then outside of that, I would move on to lag putting from 40 to 50 feet, being able to get it inside that 18-inch kind of circle around the hole to where maybe your group gives you the putt, or maybe it's so close it's easy for you, right? But I think that I see a lot of players in Tellico Village get frustrated with their putting, or maybe they don't even know what to do with their putting. I think we do a great job of offering our Wednesday clinics. We do short game clinics. We've got a lot of able-bodied professionals that teach, right? And Adam is doing a great job with Odyssey putter fittings right now, and I don't think enough people are taking advantage of it, to be honest. I think if you play golf, Pat, and a bogey golfer who shoots 90 and 40% of the game is putting, well, they're putting it 36 times, right? So if you hit your putter 36 times, if you play 18 holes, you got 4 par 3s. At Kahiti, you got 5 par 3s, right? You're only hitting 13 or 14 drivers. Now, some people hit driver on par 3s, but majority don't, right? So maximum times you hit your driver is 18 and you hit a putter 36. Why would you not make sure your putter fits you?
Okay, so let's throw a question in there. So let's say I'm on a putting green at Toqua or Kahiti.
Sure.
And I'm putting. I should be putting, well, let's just use me for example. I'm a horrible putter. Not as bad as some people, but not near what I want to be.
Sure.
Should I start putting in that 24-inch, 36-inch range?
Trying to get in that or practice from that?
Practice from that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now I go back to music lessons, I go back to golf, you go to all these things you practice. If I get within that 36-inch range and I'm practicing and I'm missing them, what should I do?
I would start with alignment, right? Making sure that I know where my putter face is lined up behind the ball, right? And the face running perpendicular with the target line. I would make sure that the ball, you're a right-handed player, correct?
Mm-hmm.
the ball needs to be just left of the center. So it's a little forward. Why? If you were sitting there and you were just going to roll a ball this direction, think about where you'd let go of it. You wouldn't let go of it back here because the ball would bounce. You wouldn't let go of it up here. I'd hit wells, right? I'd let go of it right after center in order to get the ball rolling, right? So you get alignment, you get ball position. Find a grip that you like, right, with your putter, and then just start to rock, right? And I see a lot of lower body swaying on the putting green. We don't want our knees, our hips, our feet to be doing anything. We want to be stable, and we want our shoulders and our forearms. You know, you hear the old pendulum, right? But it remains to be true. You see the best players in the world, they're very still.
Now, we put that into practice.
Yep.
And I stand up there with 5 golf balls, 36 inches away, and I make 4 out of 5.
Okay.
What I'm teaching myself is whatever I'm doing wrong, because I'm not hitting 50% of them minimum, is I am practicing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And if I continue to do that, I'm drilling into my brain, it's called neuroplasticity.
Yep.
I'm drilling into my brain a wrong technique, and I will never get better.
Okay, that's correct. And block practice would be considered hitting the same putt over and over versus randomized practice where you're not just hitting the uphill 3-footer, you're hitting the downhill and the side hill, the left to right, the right to left, and you're starting to randomize your practice because golf is very randomized, right? And it's pass or fail game, so going to different spots while you're practicing,
right?
Same distance is fine.
Okay, so now I get 4 out of 5 within 24 to 36 inches. What do I go to next?
I would move back to a 4 or 5 feet.
Okay.
Right? Because now what you've done is subconsciously you've built some confidence, right? Wells and I played a lot of golf together, right? And so just over the years, like, your best scores come from when you're really good from 5 or 6 feet.
Yep.
Would you not agree? Yep. Last time we played, right? And you were like, gosh, if I'd make some 5-footers, right? And it might be for birdie, it might be for par, might be for bogey, depending on our viewers, or double. But if two putting versus 3 putting, 2 putting versus 4 putting, and we go back to your example of PGA Tour players, they miss 35% of greens. Well, they're really good at chipping. Well, because they're good at putting, and it turns into not putting as much pressure on their chipping, relaxes them, right? And then all of a sudden, they know from the fairway, I can miss the green because I can hit the chip. And then it goes back all the way to the tee. All right, I can drive it in the rough. That'll be okay because I know I'm really good around the green. And it just kind of snowballs all the way back to the tee. So I think that, to your point, the tour professional is going to miss 35% of greens. What are our amateurs doing, right? Go back to a conversation I've had in the past. Where are you aiming?
Right.
Where are you aiming in order to only hit 2 or 3 greens per round?
Well, you're getting into one of our conversations a little bit later on, but you mentioned a word I want to expound on a little bit. Confidence.
Yep.
I've noticed that if I walk up to a putt, 24 inches, 36 inches, and if I have any doubt, a very, very small doubt, confidence, I'm not going to make the putt.
Yep.
If I walk up and I look at that putt and I say it's going in the hole, high percentage it goes in the hole.
Yep.
So it goes back to the 24 to 36 inches, right?
That's right.
You develop that confidence of going 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, high percentage. You develop your confidence, you'll start making those putts.
Yeah, and when you get a little stress or a little doubt in your mind, I think we've talked about this, like the way the putter flows, if it's not pretty smooth and it gets quick, and then all of a sudden now the face is rotating too much or you might miss-hit it, and all you got to do is get it offline by that and you'll miss it. So a little doubt versus a little confidence is a big change.
So Casey, we're going to continue with this. And Wells, you're a golfer. I've played with you. You're a good golfer. And I would like for you to join in as the non-pro amateur, like I'm putting myself up to be.
Yep.
But if I go over to the driving range and I get a bucket of balls and I go out and I whack driver and I whack 5 irons and I just beat them to death, that's not where my scoring is it?
It's not. And I see so many people, even students I teach, I'll see them, maybe not during a lesson, but I'll just see them. They're out practicing, and I'll just say, hey, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so, what are you working on? And I'm just hitting balls. Okay, where's your target? You know what a lot of people say? Straight.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That way.
Straight based on what target, right?
Yeah.
And so, just out into the range.
Right.
And it's so, I'm guilty of it. it's so easy for us to sit there with 50 balls and just hit it. That wasn't very good. Hit it. That wasn't very good. Oh, I got that one. I hit 33% of the. I hit 1 out of 3 good. That's 33%. And then go to the golf course, and all of a sudden now I've got a. What do you think an average fairway is? Width?
40 yards.
40-yard wide fairway, right? So now I've got a target.
Right.
Right? And I just hit 40, 50 balls, and I didn't aim at anything.
Right.
And so in the practice session, it would benefit people to lay an alignment stick down on their feet and aim at a target that is downrange.
Or how about, and I find myself doing this, and part of my practice routine I've changed and still not getting much better, but I can see improvement. You get a range marker on the left and a range marker on the right. Sometimes it's 50, 60 yards. And because I start thinking of other things, I'll just pull 5 golf balls out. How many out of 5 did I put in that space? And I say, okay, so I got 1 out of 5. Now I do the
Imagining that would be your fairway or something.
Yeah, and now I'll go 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
And then I go 1 out of 5. And then I'm shooting for 3 out of 5.
Yep.
And that's what I try to practice.
Yep.
But should I be out there doing that, or should, what our discussion just a minute ago, should I be putting and chipping? Where are my scores
Absolutely.
coming from, drives or putts?
They're coming from putting, right? 40% of the game is putting, right? Bunker play, chipping, pitching, bump and runs, lie assessment. If you ask me what shot are you hitting, the first thing, if you ask any golf professional in Tellico Village, what shot are you hitting? I'm going to say, well, how's the golf ball sitting? Right?
Yeah.
Is it sitting down in the rough? Am I sitting up in the rough? Am I in the fairway? Am I in a divot? Right? Am I in a bunker? Where's the golf ball and how is it sitting? And then you can kind of base it on that.
Wells, I'm sorry we left you out, but it's your turn.
All right.
Can you give us an update on the course, what's going on?
Yeah, we've been really busy this last month. You know, Pat, I've been here a long time, it seems like now. It's gone by fast, but, 14, 15 summers, something like that. And this is the first summer I can remember where it was slow to start. You know, we really didn't have any days above 90 before member guest. And from June 15th to the end of July, I think we had close to 40 days above 90.
Yeah.
40 days above 90. All those nights were above 70. When temperatures are like that, our bent grass, which is a cool season grass, it just never has a chance to recover. We've said this before, but years where it's been hot prior to this year, you may get 2 or 3 weeks of 90s and 70s, but then you catch a 4 or 5 day break where it's mid 80s, low 60s. Or I remember one year it was even in the upper 50s on July 4th weekend. And for us as turf grass managers on cool season grass in the transition zone, which is our area, the country here, the bent grass will get a lot of wear and tear during the day. I've had a friend that played Toqua late in the day a couple weeks ago, and he just said, I think they were the last tee time out, and just around the cup was just destroyed from 150, 200 rounds that day. So the grass kind of gets thinned out, it gets beat up, but if you can get nighttime temperatures in the low 60s, mid 60s, low 60s, it almost recovers overnight. And if you can get multiple nights in a row, it'll recover for a few days in a row, and then that gets you through the next hot stretch without a whole lot of stress on your grass. But this year we never got a break. It was just 92, 93, 96.
Lack of rain.
Lack of rain, yeah. We had 2.5 inches in June, 3.5 in July. So not a whole lot of rain throughout the golf courses. And so it's been a very difficult summer. We've spent a lot of time with moisture meters, and if I had to have it both ways, hot and dry or hot and rain, I'd take hot and dry every day because we can turn the water on.
Yeah.
But when it rains every day, usually that's when you really start to struggle, because if you can keep the turf dry, the root zone dry, it fights off fungal disease, and your traffic tolerance is a whole lot better when you have a firm dry surface as opposed to wet every day. But when the weather's like that, we're spending a lot of time with what we use is a TDR moisture meter. It's got these little prongs on the bottom, and it measures volumetric water content in the top 3 inches. We had a video a couple years ago where we kind of walked through that. If you wanted to reference back to look at something
we'd love
like
to see that again.
Yep, and so we kind of have an idea every day, and it gives you a number. And for us, we know our numbers in the morning, depending on the course. It's different at different courses. A course with new greens with very low organic matter, their numbers might be a little bit lower than ours that are 25, 30-year-old greens. But, ideally at Tenacity, I know for us, we shoot for morning averages throughout the whole green to average around 19.5 to a 20.5, something like that. And if we find an area within that green that is less than a 16, then we'll flag it, go back and we'll add some water with a hose.
Well, that brings up a point on our YouTube comments.
Yep.
A person asked on there, what has been our average stimp meter rating?
Green speeds?
Yeah,
Yep.
green
so
speeds. Yeah.
For Tellico Village, kind of what we shoot for, and again, it's weather dependent, seasonal dependent, but ideally, we want our greens off of a single cut for daily play to be between 9.5 and 10.5. Now, you get a bunch of rain or the humidity is really high, that number may drop, or you get into the fall or spring of the year when maybe the grass isn't growing quite as much or there's less humidity, less moisture content in the leaf blade. It's really easy to get much over 10.5 or 11. And for us, if our greens are over 11, the majority of our golfers are probably having a hard time with it.
A lot of slope around the hole.
A lot of slope. I mean, Tenaci's greens have a ton of slope on them. And I know there's been a few times where we've had them up over 11, and you have to be really, really careful where you put the hole location, and you have to know who's playing your golf course that day.
Yeah, I hit a putt on Tenaci the other day on a downslope with the shadow of the putter, and it went off the front of the green.
Yeah.
That fast.
Yeah, they're quick. So you kind of got to, we shoot, like I say, between 9 and 11 is kind of a good average. Your typical golfer probably can't tell much difference between a 9 and a 10, but they can tell the difference between 9 and 11.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if we're around 10 feet, we're really happy. And then if we've got the MGA or a low handicap group, or I know Jordan's got the Tennessee
PGA
Professionals coming up at the end of the month. I know he's probably going to want his up around 11 for that, maybe a little faster. So, and we can manipulate that with some things we do. We can double cut, we can cut and roll. Things like of that nature. I know from member guests, Jordan's greens are pretty quick, and that was the goal. I mean, it's a marquee event. We don't want it to be really easy for everybody. We still want it to be fun, but fair.
Yeah. So what are you doing with the pond at Toqua? What's John doing?
Yep, the pond at Toqua. So Toqua has their pumps at Toqua are the original pumps that were installed in 2007 when the irrigation renovation happened when they did the greens, but over the years, this is going to date back a while, but in 2014, a sinkhole opened up on that pump house, right, which made the back right corner of the pump house sink. They had to raise it up to re-level it. When they re-leveled it, they opened up a gap in the wet well, and the wet well is a big tube that goes in the ground that our vertical pumps sit in. When that gap opened up, it left a little space between these two sections of pipe. So we were getting some soil and dirt kind of washing in. So then we had to think of some options of what we wanted to do to plug that hole. And the option that was chosen at the time by a previous employee was to use a concrete, kind of like a gunite coating.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really the direction that we wanted to go in golf, because our pump service providers felt like that could cause problems down the road, because that gunite can flake off, get in the bottom of the wet well, and cause wear and tear on the pump. So here we are 11 years later, and it has caused a lot of wear and tear on those pumps. This year we have plans to remove the roof, remove the pumps, rebuild the pumps, reline the wet well. Long story short, the pumps are not performing as they should, and John North at Toqua has his hands full just to get the golf course watered at the flow that those pumps can put out before they'll have a low pressure fault. So rather than put more hours and wear and tear on those pumps to fill a pond that just really serves no purpose.
Right. It's very shallow.
Very shallow.
Very shallow.
So we're not going to waste valuable hours on pumps that are kind of on their last leg to fill a pond. We're going to save those hours to make sure we have enough water on the golf course to get through the season.
Prioritize the course over the pond until it's fixed.
Prioritize the course over the pond. And, one good 2-3 inch rain event, that pond's full.
Yeah.
But it's temporary. Again, the golf course comes first, and that's kind of what we're prioritizing is the putting surfaces first, fairways, tees, So
Good. Casey, this one's up to you, and we're going to try to walk through Toqua number 11.
Okay, before we do that, I've got a question, a hot topic.
Okay, good.
Okay, I know the answer, but it sounds a lot coming from a master of agronomy.
Okay,
right?
all right.
Wells, we get asked in the golf shop.
Yep.
We're in the middle of summer. Bermuda grass is great. Why do you aerify fairways now?
Bermuda grass is a warm season grass. We don't have that on our greens. We have cool season grass on our greens like many people in the village have. They don't have bent grass in their home lawn. Right. It'd be cool if they did, but they've got fescue, Bermuda grass, ryegrass. Those are cool season grasses. They grow best spring and fall, which is why we air fire bent grass greens spring and fall, why you may air fire and overseed your home lawn spring or fall. But if you have Bermuda grass, you want to cultivate, air fire, verticut, whatever you're going to do to kind of tear up that surface when the grass is growing at its peak.
Yeah,
and you know, late June through about the middle of August is when the Bermuda grass is really at its peak. So that's when we typically tend to aerify fairways. We usually don't start doing aerification practices on our Bermuda grass until after member guest. So, you know, if you'll remember back, that's when we did our tees at all 3 courses. Kahiti got a jump start, did theirs a little early. But since member guest, we've all been trying to pick away at aerifying fairways. It kind of helps with traffic compaction, compaction on the surface. It also helps water drainage get kind of down into the profile. If any of you dug a hole in your yard, it's not the best stuff here. So anything we can do to increase pore space in the soil, it'll help water kind of drain through. And you know, right now we do it, and it's unfortunate because it looks really great, but if we do it right now, you know, you're only going to be looking at those holes we did tenacity last week, and we were mowing fairways today, and it's almost not noticeable. So, you know, if you do it, and I had a guy ask me, well, why don't you do it in March when you know, the Bermuda grass doesn't look as good, and well, because it's not growing. You do it in March, you're going to look at that until May.
Right. Yeah.
We do it, you know, 3rd week of July, and by the 1st week of August, it doesn't even look like we were there.
Yeah. I got the comment, they only do this stuff on days I play. I'm like, they work every day. You know,
well, and to bring that up, you mentioned before the average fairway is about 40 yards wide.
Yep.
And if my watch shows correctly for the number of steps I take, each of the courses is going to be somewhere around 4.7 to 5 miles.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's a lot of hauling an air fire around.
Yeah.
And you're doing it around play.
Right.
They don't.
They never close. Yeah, and that's you know, we're a high volume property, so you know, if we closed each golf course for 2 or 3 days, you know, 1 week each for 2 or 3 days each week, we could probably get a lot of this stuff done. But you know,
it's terrible on golfers when you close the course for 2 or 3 days to just aerify the greens.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can imagine for a fairway.
Yeah.
Again, 5 miles, 40 yards wide.
It's roughly between 28 and 32 acres of fairway at each golf course. And we're not doing the entire fairway. We're doing high traffic areas, low wet areas, maybe areas we've installed some drainage.
Yeah.
So.
Nice job with that answer, because I mean, viewers want to know.
Oh,
right?
sure.
And so that's good. Toqua number 11.
Yeah.
That was where you were going.
So let's in our minds play a hole.
Okay.
And we're going to play Toqua number 11 based on what we said earlier in this taping of this video. So I'm standing on number 11. Let's just say I play from the white tees.
Okay.
If I have a 200-yard drive right in that general area, I'm going to be in the middle of the turn, which is not quite 90 degrees.
Okay.
Got trees on the left, out of bounds on the right, 40, 45 yards wide. Best drive is a hook around the corner. Most of us are going to hit a slice.
Yep.
Where should I be aiming for the probability to end up somewhere in the middle to the left of the fairway on a drive?
Well, if you work the ball left to right as a right-handed player, and you're working the ball left to right, I'm not sure how you're going to get it in the left side of the fairway unless it's lower than the tree. I think from the white tee over the tree is probably not in the cards, right? So it would have to be almost underneath the tree. As a golf professional, I would just, if I know my ball's working left to right, I'm probably going to aim at the right edge of the tree and know it's going to go. Right, it's going to go to the right. Now, for somebody who draws the golf ball, I would see a shape. How far do you see this ball curving? Right. Everybody's got that shape in their head of what their shot does, right? Wells works the ball right to left, so maybe for him it's, okay, 10, 15 yards out to the right, and I see this thing turning. So through the fairway there, picking a spot of a starting line and a finishing point. Does that make sense to you?
Sure. And mine is right to left. No, let me back up. Dyslexic there for a minute.
You're left to right, yeah.
I'm left to right. My error is that if I try to just miss that tree on the left, which is hard virtually impossible for me to go over.
Yeah.
Very difficult to go under. The further I aim to the left, in order to compensate for that, my brain tells me to guard against that slice, and I will rotate my wrist and my forearms, and I square the club face, and now I got to pull.
Yep.
So the best for me is just to go down the middle with a nice, fluid, easy swing.
Yep, absolutely.
Get it in play.
Get it in play, right?
Okay.
I mean, don't make a mistake off the tee, because we already talked about how hard it is to hit the green.
Right, and that one is if I don't get it 185 to 200 something out there, I can't see around the corner.
Right.
From the white tee.
No, you can't reach the green.
Okay.
Yep.
So now I'm out in the fairway. I made the fairway.
Okay.
I'm right in the middle. I've got somewhere, if I got a break, I'm 165. If I didn't get a break, a good bounce, I'm 185.
Okay.
We can visualize that hole. Trees on the left with houses.
Yep.
Houses and trees on the right. Bunker on the right side. It slopes right to left downhill.
Yep.
Okay. Where should my aim be if I cut the ball?
If you're a left or right player, where's the flag?
Let's put it on the right side.
Okay. So it's right side, behind a bunker. You're coming in from 185. The flag's going to be right behind the bunker's edge. If you go with the flag, it's not going to stop once it hits the green anyway, right?
No.
So, probably don't want to hit it in the bunker.
Nope.
And to be honest, you don't want to really be short of the bunker, because that's a hard pitch shot.
Right.
Right? So, if you're 185 yards out and you know you cannot get there, I know I can't get there. I know that I can generate more spin. Everybody can. You guys can too. I know I can generate more spin with a full shot than I can a half shot.
Right.
Agreed? So how far does a full lob wedge go for you?
I don't have a lob wedge. I gave that bad boy
Sand
up
wedge?
years ago. Sand wedge, 65,
65
75 yards. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think you'd have a higher probability with a full sand wedge from 75 yards of getting it closer to that back right flag than you would from 20 yards short to an elevated green? You got to go over a bunker and generate spin?
I'd probably get it on the green at a higher probability with a sand wedge.
Yeah, the full shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of our players would. So, am I telling you to go from 185 to only hit it 110 yards and then hit it on the green? No. But maybe that's a thought that goes through your head, because I know that I've seen a lot of players hit it up there near the green and walk off with 6 or 7.
Yeah.
When I think that with the sand wedge, you would have made a 5 at a higher rate.
And
So it's not always about making par.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. That is one of the hardest holes on all 3 courses.
Yep.
That's why I picked this one.
Yep.
It's got left to right, right to left, troubles. Talking Wells hits right to left, I hit left to right. If my dispersion of my balls, my error,
Yep.
is going to be 15 yards left, 15 yards right, 30 yards miss rate, where should I be aiming?
You're talking my language now, right? And so,
Well, I want you to talk mine,
there's
because I don't like this hole to beat.
I was lucky enough to spend some time with a gentleman named Scott Fawcett. He created Decade Golf.
Okay.
And so Decade Golf kind of is a lot of stats, and I'm a big stats guy, and kind of talk you through, and using Google Earth and images, being able to play a golf course just using the internet, right? And using how wide fairways are, where your landing areas are, what your probabilities are. And so essentially what he's teaching you is, I'm 150 yards from the hole, okay? Let's take a Tellico Village of 15 handicap, the national average, right? What did you say it was, 14.2?
Yeah, something like that.
So they're hitting a 7-iron from 150, right? If the flag is let's just say the green is, how wide do you think a normal green is? I know we got some that are 25 yards wide, maybe wider.
Maybe. So I'd have to think about it, 'cause it depends.
I'd say 30, 35 yards.
Yeah, 30. Okay, so it's 30 yards
Depending
wide.
on length
right.
or
how it
width.
sets.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
13 at
So-
Tenassee's is probably 40 yards
Sure,
side to side.
right.
So let's play a square green. We don't have any square
Okay,
greens, right?
right.
But you got 30 yards side to side, 30 yards from back to front.
Right.
Right? So on this green, if the flag is on the right side of the green and your dispersion is 15 yards right and 15 yards left, and you aim at the right flag, and you already told me you hit it left or right, so 60% of your shots end up right of the hole, then 60% of the time, because you aim at the flag, you miss the green. If you aim at the middle, move your median to the middle, and we know that the green's 30 yards wide, then 6% of the time when you hit it to the right, you're just on the right side of the green. Well, in our example, that's where the flag is.
Right.
So you didn't even mean to aim at the hole, and you hit it, but you end up, because of your dispersion, you end up on that side of the hole.
And if I don't hit the normal cut 15 yards, I'm now in the middle of the green.
And
You're in the middle of the green, 30 feet
But
from
if
the hole.
I roll my wrist and I pull it, I'm 15 yards to the left,
Yep.
and I'm still on the green.
Still.
Yeah, hitting a 45-footer.
Right.
Okay. Right. I mean, it's kind of silly rather than down in the right trap.
And so isn't that the same with you? Because you're going to come in right to left.
Yep.
So you would aim
I
middle
would
of the
aim middle as well.
Yeah.
So grasp this. You're going to hit it. In our example, the flag's still on the right. You aim dead middle. You are going to accidentally hit it near the hole.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do you hit it at the hole? Doesn't have.
No.
It doesn't come out of there and you look up and it's at the hole very often, right? And so I know that for myself, right? I look up, I'm like, golly, and if my aim point was wrong, then now I'm chipping, right? Tour pros try to do that, and golf is so hard they still miss 35%,
Sure.
right?
Right.
So I saw a stat, and don't quote me on this, but when the flag is in the front of the green, a PGA Tour professional still misses short 60 to 70% of the
Sure.
time. If the flag's in the front of the green at 120 yards for our viewers, well, the green is 30 yards deep.
Yeah.
You could hit it 150 yards and be on the back fringe.
Right.
But it's, okay.
But if you try to hit that 120 club and you hit it a little thin, then you're
My pitching wedge goes 120 when I hit it good,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, and
I'm going to hit my pitching wedge and I miss-hit it and it's in the front bunker.
Let's get into real probabilities here.
Yep.
The probability of me from 150 yards out, 165, not just me, any amateur golfer, the high percentage shot into that green is not left or right, and it's definitely not long. Where is it?
Into 11?
No, into any hole. The high probability shot into a green for a golfer, and I see.
Oh, where
this
is it going
short.
to end up?
Yeah,
short.
short,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, short.
Yep, absolutely.
Because we're clubbing for the club distance, but now we're good enough to hit it, but our error is going to make it short.
Yeah, I mean, go back to number 11 at Toqua. I mean, that's probably a little bit easier shot for you because you're fading. You got that gap right there, the approach.
Yeah.
You're fading it. For him, that's a really hard shot.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to carry the bunker, and it's working right to left, so it's got a little less spin than a fade, right? So a right to left shot might go further than a fade, but your apex is coming in and doesn't have as much, so it just hits the green and rolls, right? So you're either going to miss long left if you can get it over the bunkers, or you're going to miss short, or ideally you're maybe running up on the front left, right? And so it's just, it's a hard hole, but probability.
Well, to wrap this up, and I'm not doing this for an advertisement purposes for you guys, but there are lessons that you guys give that you play the holes with the student
Yeah.
to walk them through this very tight topic,
Yeah,
correct?
that's right. That's
Okay.
right. Playing lessons. If you go to golftellicovillage.com, you can click on it. You can go to lessons, and you can see everything we're doing. Read instructors' resumes, and reach out to who you want. Everybody's rates are different based on their titles and their schools, their classwork that they've completed. But yeah, I mean, golf instruction is so important, right? And it's so vital to our operation, honestly, because if you're taking instruction, you're probably going to play in some leagues, and if you're playing in leagues, you're probably playing more golf, and then you're in our restaurants, and it kind of snowballs. So it's really important to us that we continue to grow the game.
Right, and it's more fun to score low.
for sure.
Yeah, for all of us. Yeah.
So Wells, back to you.
Yeah.
I remember earlier this spring in the golf talk, we talked about how you have a number of students come over here
We
and
did.
work during the summer.
Yep.
They just went back to school.
They did. The
What
fall.
happens?
It's tough. The fall time of the year, in my opinion, it's the best time to play golf. Really, it can still be warm in August, but days are getting shorter. Humidity's not quite like it was in July, but September, October, and really November up until Thanksgiving, hands down the best time to play golf. Our courses are great. Everything's filled in. The greens are good. The fairways are still good. We haven't had frost yet until probably 1st of November. But we are busy. We've got a lot of agronomic practices that go on in the fall, whether that's putting down pre-emerge for winter annuals. We've got a handful of root diseases that can get into our Bermuda grass this time of year, and those applications have to be made based on soil temperature. And once you hit that certain soil temperature, you time it. You make your first application, 28 days later you make another application. We also go out and do a full course fertility application in the first week or two of September, which is heavier in potassium, not so high in nitrogen, because that potassium kind of helps the plant harden off and store some carbohydrates to go dormant on, and hopefully we'll hold that in reserves until the spring. Yeah. We've got dry eject coming up the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday after Labor Day. Tuesday Tenacity, Wednesday Toqua, Thursday Kahiti.
All right, now you have to explain dry eject.
Yep. So dry eject's a process we started 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
I'd have to look back. It's been a while we've been doing it. Because for the first 5 or 6 years we were here, we were really trying to correct the organic layer that had just kind of been neglected prior to our arrival, which led to really soft greens, kind of poor playing conditions. So in the fall, for those first 5 or 6 years, we did an aggressive core, pull core, hollow tine aerification in the fall, and we felt like we got our organic level where we needed it based off soil tests that kind of proved that. So in the fall now, we do what's called a dry eject. It's a company, it's like a franchise. So they're the only ones in the state of Tennessee with this technology. And it's really neat. They come on the green and it's this machine. It looks like an aerifier, but it doesn't pull a core. We hook our hose up to it out of our irrigation system, and then it's got a series of compressors and high pressure jets. And it will shoot the high pressure jet into the green to open up a hole, and then it will automatically backfill that hole with sand.
Oh, cool.
So we don't actually pull a core out in the fall right now. We may have to go back to it one day if we ever, we do soil tests every year. If they tell us that we need to, we will, but it's a really good process. We can get it knocked out in a day, and the hole is filled all the way to the top.
Right.
It's extremely playable the next day. There's really no downtime. That's why our golfers love it, because it's one-day closure and the greens are very playable the next day.
Yep.
So we've got that coming up the first week of September. Yeah, it's a lot of mowing, a lot of things still to do. Grass is all still growing. So with no seasonal employees, we're all three courses will be down about 3 or 4 employees, which is 120 to 160 man hours a week. So we do our best to try to maintain as we did when those guys were here, but you can't replace 120 man hours.
No.
So it's hard to do. What does that mean? Does that mean maybe we don't full rake bunkers every day? Yeah, probably. It's a hazard. We may rake all the bunkers Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, we may just go in and spot rake.
Sure.
So like if you played out of that area, we come up on that bunker the next morning. This area's been played out of, we might just rake that area.
It was a good message to us golfers too.
Yeah.
Rake your bunker.
Rake your bunkers, fix your ball marks, fill your divots.
Sure.
We don't have divot boxes on the par 3s,
Right.
but there's 2 on every cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you empty it on the front 9, fill it up when you make the turn.
Sand bin,
Sure.
turn.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the fall is my favorite time of the year, but it is a very, very busy time of year. So we're excited about it. It's kind of, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Football is not too far away. By the time this video comes out, hopefully we're getting ready for first Tennessee football game.
Yep.
Not too far away. So it's a great time to play golf, but it is a difficult time to maintain our golf courses.
Casey, back to you.
Okay.
But before I ask you about rounds and calendar, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Always wondered this. So I live a couple of miles from Tenacity. It gets late in the afternoon. Like you said, it's going to be a little bit quicker to become dark. Pro shop closes. I can still go get in 9 holes and I walk.
Yep.
How can I count that round? Do I need to call you?
You're an unlimited member?
Yeah, unlimited.
Yeah, so although there's not a cost for you as an unlimited member at the counter,
But there's a round count.
there's a round count, right? And we want to know how many rounds are played for sure in Tellico Village for multiple reasons, right? But I would love if you know you're going to do that, call the golf shop beforehand. If that happens, yeah, you can call the next morning and say, hey, I played last night. But ideally, Pat, we want to know, because it might not seem like a big deal, but the closing shift might not know that there's a walker out there, and if somebody just walks out on the golf course, what if there's an accident? They could have been rangering, late at night. They're going to check where carts are, and
Well, you got neighbors calling in too.
yeah, exactly. And
They're
so you
very
just
cognizant of who's out there and who should be out there.
yeah. So we just want to know who's on the golf course. So if you're going to play golf, even if you're an unlimited member, we ask that you call the golf shop and let us know you're playing golf.
Okay, so let's say I live on the golf course and I have my own golf cart and I'm not an unlimited player. Let's say I'm a prepaid.
Yep.
How do I I know I shouldn't be out there
Yep.
because I didn't pay for the round.
Right.
I know I should get the round counted because that's what you guys are measured on, the number
right.
of rounds and the revenue.
That's exactly right.
How do I compensate for that? If I just, well, I got 2 or 3 hours, I can go out and play, but you're closed. How do I do that? Because I definitely don't want somebody to turn me in and say that I lifted a round.
Yeah, no, we probably just need to make sure that if we know we want to play golf, we get a tee time and we go through it the right way. We don't want anybody to go out there when we didn't know they were going.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I walk by first class every time I get on a plane, but I mean I get to sit there, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's empty, but I don't get to sit there, right? So
Well, give us a rounds in the calendar.
okay, so 25,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We are 25 through July. We're 25 rounds above 2024.
That's
The
close.
2 sitting in this chair, that is wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with 10 inches of rain in May and then not a great January, February, I'm surprised. And
Yeah.
especially how hot it's been. 40
Oh,
days
yeah.
since June 15th, over 90, and
Right.
people are still coming out and playing,
Yeah.
which I think it's a testament to the golf courses. I
Absolutely.
mean, Casey and I were talking about this the other day, but there's a lot of area golf courses. The guys with Bermuda grass greens are loving life right now. I know a friend of mine at Wind River, they've got zoysia grass, and their greens are loving this weather. But bent grass, it's tough right now.
Mm-hmm.
So our courses are really good, and our residents are taking advantage.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they are good. I'm enjoying it.
I would agree. Kudos to this team.
Absolutely.
He's not wrong. There's area courses and going through some tough times right
Yeah.
now.
It's been a hard year.
You know, Wells and John and Jordan and their teams.
Yeah,
Hats off.
no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah, tell them thanks. Now, what's going on with the calendar?
Calendar at the end of the month, we touched on that. We have the Tennessee PGA Professional Championship at Kahiti. We talked about that last month. And then September, we'll continue. We've got a couple charity outings, and then we'll continue all of our league play, and that'll all run through October. And then we'll start to really wind down once we get to, really time change.
Okay.
Yep.
So everybody can keep up with that on your website.
Absolutely. GolfTellicoVillage.com. I know there's across 3 golf courses in August. There are 46 event days to facilitate.
Right.
So we got a lot going on.
Casey and Wells, thank you again for joining us this month on Golf Talk. Really enjoyed being with you. And thank you all for watching Golf Talk this month. Please subscribe to Tellico Village Network through YouTube. We appreciate your comments. We can answer them on the next month's Golf Talk or when we get to them. And if you have a like, click that like button. And we'll see you again next month.